Hi, my name's Shane. I use she and her pronouns, and this is the third of 4 sessions of #iHunt, the role playing game. We're using the 80s setting from the Machine Age Productions Patreon. The characters here are sort of hard luck working class monster hunters in the Reagan era, trying to vanquish supernatural evil and also to survive sort of regular capitalist evil. The This series was organized as part of the Gauntlet gaming calendar. The Gauntlet is an online community that plays, discusses, and organizes all kinds of role playing games, especially Indian story games. If you'd like to find out more or check it out, come play a game with us, you can check out gauntlet-rpg.com or at gauntletrpg on Twitter. I will just mention before we start that we are playing with a set of safety tools that we established in our first session. So if you need to check, there is a set of lines and veils in the character keeper, and we're also playing with the X card and the open door and under the Gauntlet Community Code of Conduct. So I will ask you each to introduce yourselves and your characters now. Maybe tell us, like names and pronouns of your stuff, and then just anything else you'd like us to know, either about you or the character that you'll be playing today. So, Puckett, why don't you go first?
Hi there, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. Tonight I'll be playing Christian Starr, who is... he's not a bright boy. I'm not even sure he's a pretty boy, but he plays guitar like no one's business. And he's in, this is an amazing band, Lipsticks. You've probably heard of us unless you're not into underground metal. But, bandmates are kind of jerks. And last time around, I met these kids out back of the Sevi, and we traded demo tapes, and they gave me some intel on like what this whole death thing that's going on, the dream death thing that's going on is.
Awesome, thank you. Donna.
Yeah, hi. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Becca Winters, who is the last Slayer. She, I guess, is a hard-bitten survivor of the union-busting Reagan efforts which shut down the Watchers Council. And she just can't believe that she's hanging out with these people. God.
Thank you. Sabine.
Hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns. I'm playing Jaime, who uses he, him pronouns. Jaime is a blue-collar magic man. He's a janitor, which mostly means that he tries to avoid working too hard. He has lost his left hand, so he is on disability a bit, and also he hunts monsters because you just need money for all the magic stuff he likes to do. Grimoires ain't cheap, folks. It's just the thing. Last time he since we were going after the stream thingy, he made a protective charm that would help us fight something in a dream. And they are looking, these protective charms take the shape of sweatbands.
Excellent. Thank you. And Will.
Hi, I'm Will, pronouns he, him, as are those of John Barron, my character, who is a struggling writer who hunts monsters because he is a struggling writer, notoriously a very well-paid profession. He last session he got to use some of those research skills and found out sort of all of the long and tragic history of this neighborhood that we're visiting, and the machete killer pool party massacre and the Dream King. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you, everyone. So we got like a bit of backstory recap in those intros, but I just want to sort of set up where we're at the moment. So you're in the suburb of Western Hills. You've been hired by a couple of local teenagers, Heather and Ronnie, who believe that someone is murdering their friends in their dreams. You did do some investigating, like Joe and Christian both mentioned, and have discovered this sort of troubled history of the town. You yeah, you mentioned the pool party massacre from about 4 years ago. You know that the perpetrator of that massacre eventually died in a local mental hospital. And I know that, John, you were thinking of following that up by visiting the hospital, which we might get to today. Becca, as the last Slayer, or back in the more active slaying days, has come across similar phenomenon before. So these sort of dream demons that latch onto the souls of killers or other evildoers and grant them this terrible power over dreams and nightmares. And you still know a little about how to navigate back and forth across the boundaries of dreams. And you, Jaime, you mentioned the sweatbands, so I won't go over that again. As we start, it's pretty late. You've kind of gathered, you've shared the intel that you collected, the preparations that you've made, things like that. But like I say, it's pretty late now. So if you want to go home and rest for the night, you can do that. Of course, the risk is that the killer will strike again. If you don't go home or get some rest, you can continue to investigate, or you can head into the dream world to try and hunt this killer. But you are going to then have a harder time when we get to your work scenes the next day. I know that some of you have some pretty big stuff happening at work tomorrow. You know, John, you have this big pitch opportunity with Starbucks to one-up Nikki Stolos. Jaime, you have possible fallout after you basically stole some money from a professor who is somewhat of a deadite, who just wanted the corner office.
He's a demon, though?
He is a demon. So just saying, there's some stuff at work tomorrow that you may want to be well rested for. So those are just some things for you to weigh up. Before we start, I also just wanted to mention quickly how I'm going to deal with sort of dream stuff mechanically. Becca has established this aspect about, you know, the boundaries between dreams being porous. So I don't want you to have to roll to like get into dreams or to find each other in dreams. I'm going to assume that's something that you generally are able to do, basically just because, you know, that's where the game is, and I don't want you to have to roll dice to get to the game. But if there's a specific reason why it seems dramatically appropriate to raise those stakes at a particular point, if you're in a rush or there's a barrier or something like that, then you might need occasionally to roll to overcome an obstacle for that sort of stuff. Does that make sense and seem fair in terms of mechanics for the dreams?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
I'm very much looking forward to all the aspects that a dream can possibly throw at you.
I know, right? So just the other thing to do before we really get started. Last time, because we had a shorter session, we didn't get to do our end of session selfies. So if you cast your mind back to what happened last time, you're all entitled to another big mood. So that is, again, there's a tab on the Keeper, selfies and advancement for this. A short phrase or a picture that describes or represents something cool that your character did during the session. And then anytime during today's session, you can invoke a big mood, one of your big moods for free to gain +1 to a roll. Christian, do you want to start? Do you have a big mood for last time?
I think my big mood is demo tapes.
Okay,
because
awesome.
I gave a bunch out, and those kids, those rat ass kids, they gave me one of their own. I bet you it's smoking.
Nice. Becca, do you have a big mood from last time? It seems like it could be the same as your previous big mood.
Yeah, that's
Which
true.
was, how did I end up with these people?
I think I'm going to make this big mood by the book, right?
Nice.
That makes some kind of sense.
Awesome. Jaime?
Yeah, I might go with the magic sweatbands because that was nice, and I might also go with the fact that I really like to, I don't know, bug people I feel I don't like, or maybe I'll go with, oh, my boss is a demon monster. Yeah, I'll go with that. I like that one. That's a big move.
Okay. And John, I can see that you've added a picture. Do you want to describe it?
It's the Charlie Day conspiracy meme to represent John drawing all of his research together and everything for the last one.
Cool. So, like I say, you've all gathered. You've talked about the stuff that you found out or prepared. Have you? We set up the Crave Inn as the diner that's open late. If you want to meet up back there, or if there's somewhere else that you want to go, maybe the back of the van. But what do you want to do?
I mean, I'm guessing that I couldn't really dig much deeper into the psychiatric hospital and, maybe any records they have on the Dream King late at night, right? Like, it doesn't seem like it would be. Is a nearby psychiatric hospital got weird visiting hours between?
I guess it depends what you want. Like, there's going to be staff on, overnight. If you want to go in and talk to some of the residents, that probably is a bit harder without coming up with some sort of elaborate cover story.
Yeah.
If you want to sneak into the basement and look through the old files, that could be a possibility.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that because it feels like
Sure.
I have to, at the moment, well, either way, I'm going to have to bluff my way in somehow, right?
I guess. Does anyone else have a clear idea of what they want to do? Are you all drinking coffee right now, or are you yawning and looking at your watch and thinking of getting back home to bed?
We don't go and confront this demon tonight.
I don't want to have any more kids' deaths on my hands. Not if we can stop this thing.
Listen, why don't we, see where the kids are at tonight? Maybe we can work out some way of keeping an eye on them or whatever, right? Like we can just get in for the night. Maybe, I don't know, I got space in mine. Have a sleepover.
So just as a reminder, one of the kids is in jail. He is suspected in his partner's death.
Yeah. Maybe we can go in there and just do a little distraction thing. Maybe scout the dreamscape. We don't need all to go. I would go. Christian, you with me?
Hell yeah. I don't want any more potential fans of my band to die.
Yeah, that would be a bummer.
Right? Entirely apart from them, probably preferring to be alive and all. Yeah.
Yeah, I snap. I have this kind of twisty tape, like you have on your wrist that you snap when you're angry or something. It's on my fake hand, so it doesn't hurt me. But I do it when I talk to you a lot because I have to remind myself not to be mean to you.
I was going to only half jokingly suggest that if we felt like making trouble, we could get arrested and get into jail with one of our two.
That's totally my department, and I can absolutely get arrested.
Yeah, you can get arrested and you will get out again, but I won't, so no, miss me with the getting arrested stuff.
Well, Becca kind of has a point. You could kind of watch over the kids at the coffee shop. I could watch over the kid in jail. A simple drunken public charge ought to just, that'd kick me loose tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah, they'd kick you loose. They wouldn't kick me loose. That's
No,
what I'm saying.
Well, but yeah, this is what I'm saying. So we split up, but in dreams, there's no distance, right?
It's true. It's
true. We should just be able to think ourselves together. What was that line from Rocky Horror? If you dream it, don't dream it, be it. All we have to do is be it.
I think he's making a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Considering that it's dreams, it would not expect anything else. Christian, take this one. Do you want a green one or do you want a pink one? I also have magenta, but that really hurts. And it hurts the eyes. So I'll take it for myself so I don't have to see it.
Okay, so I can choose green or pink, right?
Yeah, I also got yellow, but that wouldn't gel with your style. I don't think.
Give me the pink.
Yeah.
I'm
I
a
thought
man.
you
I can. Real men wear pink.
Yeah. Sure. It's kind of metal wearing pink.
It's very metal.
Mhm.
Like I like the shade of it too. It's nice and bright, nice and neon, stands out.
Yeah. Also
It's
keeps
like-
your hair out of your eyes.
Well, and the other part of it is this actually kind of matches the like our flyers. Like this is we're like syncing things up here. You know, the headband charm, the flyers for my band's shows. Good thinking, Jaime.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to dig maybe a bit more into this Dream King stuff. I got lots of stuff from the papers, the archives, and everything. I'm going to try and piece it together. Maybe we can, if one of the parents starts kicking up a fuss or anything, we can show them we've got proof that they killed this guy, and convince them that they need to keep us around.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's a good idea.
So-
take a sweatband to John.
Oh,
Take
yeah.
the yellow one.
And he grimaces at it and puts it around his wrist rather than his head.
John, do you keep your brain in your wrist?
Well, that's his
I
writing
ain't touching
hand.
that. Yeah.
You know.
And he
Okay.
winks at Becca. Yeah. I was just thinking that actually I would like to make a always on, adept in the way of the TV, magazines, and the news, and create an advantage for us to use an aspect to say, like the history of the place kind of thing as an aspect. So that the real, like the truth, you can't handle the truth or whatever, right? Like,
Oh yeah, that's cool. So you still have to roll to create the aspect.
yes, I figured as much. Yes.
So what skill do you want to use?
I think I could use Investigator for that.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that. We'll play it out. As
Yeah.
a bit of a thing.
Oh.
All right. Cool.
But I thought that would be kind of what, because John, I'm imagining, is staying up all night wired and, really doing
Yeah.
all that.
And so he's got he's gone through the library, he's gone through the official records. Now he's looking at what was reported in the Weekly World News, what bad straight to video based on a true story
and he's,
video came out.
And he's just filling it up for his notes for his future book, right?
Mhm.
The Dream Killer or whatever.
Awesome. Cool.
What is the horror equivalent of Hallmark movie of the week?
Shudder movie, yeah.
Becca, what are you going to do?
I recall last week we thought maybe we should see Christian and Becca together in a scene. So I wonder if we're going to get arrested together. How does that sound, Puckett?
I mean, if you want to get arrested, I can make sure that you do. But the thing is, I mean, not that I know this from experience or anything like that, but usually they have men and women in separate holding areas and cells. So, but
Let's not be too realistic here. Maybe this is a small jail, equal opportunity jail.
Or there's two cells and they just happen to be right next door to each other.
Yeah, or
so
across the aisle.
Cell bars in between or something very old school.
Yeah, I buy that.
All right. So here's the thing with drunken public. There's two ways to do this. We either need to actually get drunk, in which case they'll arrest us and it's all legit, or we just smell a lot like alcohol and stay mostly sober, which could help us in the dreams. But I mean, being drunk in the dream might help us too. I mean, might just say, no, you can't do that, because we're drunk, or we could do something that normally we wouldn't think we could do because not only are we dreaming, but we're also drunk.
I think what you're saying is when you're drunk, you can believe things that are completely inane and unbelievable otherwise. And as per your previous argument, if you can believe it, you can be it, right?
Right. But even more so because you can do that but also be in a dream, which means you don't even have to like follow the dream logic. Plus, when you're drunk, you're pretty much invincible, right?
Yeah, but if you get blackout drunk, you won't drink. You won't dream at all.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why I'm saying it's like it's a fine line. It's a fine line between clever and the other thing.
I think the other thing is too clever for your own good.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Right. So are we actually getting drunk, or are we just kind of faking getting drunk? Or are we like, is one of us getting drunk and the other one's kind of faking it?
I think I'll fake it.
All right.
I think you're halfway there from your from the suspicious lack of a full bottle of JD on your person right now.
I mean, I am halfway there. Living on a prayer.
All right, sounds like a plan. Jaime, are you just going to sleep and then trying to meet up with the others in the dream world, or
No, I'm going to look over the kids. That was the plan.
All right. Okay, so
and also I've taken the potions thing, so I can.
Oh, yeah.
I can create. I think I can create a potion that will keep you awake for a bit by spending a fate point. So
Cool.
I think I will do that for the kids mainly, not for us. But I don't want the kids to fall asleep.
Yeah, so I mean, there's basically 3 kids who are at risk, and one of them is working late at the diner. So maybe the diner is where it makes sense for you to do that. We'll get Ronnie to come down there as well.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, Becca and Christian, where are you going to go to get yourselves arrested?
What do you think, Becca? I mean, the convenience store is right there.
Whatever passes for town hall.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a town hall. Yeah.
Or a convenience store, you know.
But I mean,
you know, I don't want to annoy whoever works at the convenience store.
Becca, this is a small town. There's metalheads here. I mean, this is probably like as normal as breathing for them.
Okay. I'll bow to your superior wisdom in getting arrested for being drunk.
All right. So the first thing is, do you like whiskey?
It makes my face go all funny, but I guess
like you can't feel it, or it goes tingling.
No, you know, like it. Like when people look at me drink whiskey, they think I don't like it, and they're probably right.
Oh, the whiskey face. Okay, yeah. So here's what we do. We have you drink like a shot or two, and then we spill some on you, so you smell like, you know, a distillery.
Yeah.
And then I'll head inside and grab another bottle because, you know, this is probably going to take up the rest of this one. And plus, it's more convincing if I'm found with, like, you know, a bottle with some in there, because they're probably convinced, you know, it's easier for the cop to think that I'm going to finish it and be more disorderly. So they're more likely to take us in.
Sure.
All right. So I assume that you are certainly that Christian is capable of getting himself or the two of you arrested. You don't need to roll for that. It seems like a sure thing. But I think that maybe you do need to roll with Survivor to overcome an obstacle to, like, you know, manage a level of drunkenness that will get you arrested but not, like, write you off for anything that might happen after. I think that's probably a difficulty of +2.
Okay. And do you want us both to roll?
Well, so was Becca just going to pretend to be drunk, or are you drinking as well?
Yeah, I think I'm mostly pretending to be drunk.
Mostly pretending.
Mostly. I mean, I guess I'm having a couple of shots and then, like Christian suggested, maybe spilling some whiskey so I reek of it. Yeah. And then maybe, you know, if Christian is going to be like the main kind of drunken troublemaker, then I will just, you know, try to stop people from, but not obviously stop people from arresting him or bringing him away. So I'm just going to be like a fly in the ointment and get, you know, swept up in this whole arrest.
I see. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, Christian, just a roll for you.
Alrighty. So 4 fate dice. And my survivor is at 2.
If you invoke an aspect, that'll bring you up to 2.
I don't think I have a lot of choice but to do that. So, I think I'm going to invoke my day job because I have often been less than sober there. So this kind of feels like I'm just going to work.
Okay, yeah. So you can spend a fate point to do that. That's going to bring you up to a tie, which will mean that you succeed at a minor cost, or succeed, but the opponent gets a boost. I think that, well, it's obviously it's open to you to invoke a second aspect, but I see that the police are going to get a boost out of this situation. So if you're rolling against them later, they're going to have that small advantage to use against you because you're maybe just slightly drunker than you'd really aimed for.
So let me ask you this.
Can I wonder something? Because I know last week we didn't use any of our big moods, right? We can invoke a big mood for a +1, right?
Yeah, if the big mood is relevant, that doesn't cost you anything. You can just use each of them once in the session. That will bring you up to a success as well.
So what I was going to say is, can I rely on my bad reputation stunt here?
What is the bad reputation stunt?
You're trouble and everyone knows it. By spending a fate point, you can replace any skill set with fighter so long as you're leaning on your reputation as someone who kicks ass.
So yes, you can do that. But like, tell us what that looks like narratively. Like, what are you specifically doing to get yourself arrested here?
I start yelling. Oh, go ahead.
Go sorry. I'm just wondering, like, when they're kind of maybe waiting in, you know, when I'm trying to pull one of them away, I'm gonna ask them, do they know who they're arresting? This is like the I'm gonna like completely pump your stats. I'm gonna like the lead singer and lead guitarist for Lipsticks, you know, capital L, and I give the spiel because obviously I've been listening to this for so long, and it's like obviously identifies you as a leader in the troublemaking metalhead community, who the police, you know, here have no love for.
And given the time, the satanic panic is in full swing. Mm-hmm. So I may as well be the devil incarnate.
Nice. But like, what is Christian doing specifically? Like, you're drunk, but how are you you're causing some sort of disruption that's making the police turn up?
It started by me telling the convenience store clerk that they needed to listen to my demo tape. And then when they said, you know, sir, this is a 7-Eleven, I jumped the counter, put it in the player, and turned the volume up. And by the time the cops show up, I'm standing on the counter, like, you know, full on air guitaring over the cash register.
Nice. And yeah, we have like the cops kind of, you know, trying to push Becca back, like, man, please, just like, and then we smash cut to the two of you in the back of the police car.
And that actually gets me to a +2 on that roll.
Cool. So that's just an outright success.
Yeah,
So,
that replaces survivor. So instead of the equal and invoking the aspect, it's a straight up +2.
yeah. Cool. All right. So let's see. John, where have you gone to do your research or your note taking?
I think it is. I think it's actually my office. You know,
yeah.
it's got the
Sure.
space and everything, and it's quiet now. And like,
Mm.
I can't remember the name of that security guard, but
I think we just called him John.
just called him
No,
John.
wait,
Yeah,
that can't be right.
that can't be
What was
right.
his
No.
name? Dougie.
Dougie. I didn't write him down.
Yeah.
Dougie, yeah. And Dougie's, they've cut his hours. No one know. Only a few people know, but it's basically, they only pay a security guard by day, by night.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go there, and with the lights on and everything, and all the papers all over the place, and a whiteboard, and lots of string, and notebook upon notebook being filled up with paper, with notes. I will roll plus investigator to create an aspect.
Yeah, sure. I think probably again a difficulty of 2.
Yeah.
Right, a
That
success.
was a 3. And you know what? I am going to use my the selfie that I got from last session, if I can, to push that to a success with style. Would that help with anything?
The difficulty is 2, so you're only sitting at that's only going to bring you up to 2 shifts above the target. You need
Okay.
to be 3 shifts above for a success with style.
Okay, then I will spend a fate point to invoke to call upon my aspect of fueled by more than creativity, as John is wide awake for however long it takes to plow through this, full of manic energy. So that would give me an extra +2, and that would bring me to +3, I think.
Yeah, so that's a success with style.
Cool.
And sorry, what does your stunt get you? You get an extra free invoke on it.
Oh, an extra free invoke. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, so that's going to be 3 free invokes. What's the aspect that you're creating called?
The aspect I'm creating is called John dies at the end. The aspect is called, no, the aspect is called what's it called? The truth in print. Like, just to represent that I have got as much information that we could possibly use to either, work something out associated with that kind of stuff, or like
Okay.
just persuade people using our sheer knowledge of events.
Yeah, that totally works. I mean, can we? I'm tempted to call the aspect like the conspiracy, like pinboard or something.
The conspiracy, yeah. The hidden truth. Let's call it that.
Well, we already have one called hidden knowledge, so
hidden knowledge. Yeah, the secret truth.
Secret truth. Secret truth. All right, we have so much knowledge and truth. Cool. I'm just thinking about like what you might figure out as you start to put all these things together. If there's some more like narrative information that I can give you. So I think that like one thing that will come out as you sort of synthesize all the information is that so the like earliest records of kind of unexplained deaths or killings in the area are from the mid-70s, when this guy Elmer Wagner, the suspected murderer, was killed or claimed to be killed. But there's no official record of his death. So officially he's considered to have like fled town. Nobody ever found his body or anything like that.
Yeah, and then there's the rumor that it was a vigilante gang, right?
Yeah, so that's what the local kids told Christian.
Yeah, but I wonder if piecing that together and cross-referencing all the things, maybe it might identify like a parent or something we could lean on and be like, what did you do with the body or something, like
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely think that like you'll find examples in the local media of the time, like not of anyone confessing to murder, but certainly, some particularly outraged parents of the era who were like, angrily protesting the injustice of this man being released.
Yeah.
And knowing what you know now, it certainly makes you suspicious.
Yeah. Nice. Cool.
Cool. And then back at the Crave Inn, Jaime, you are drinking coffee after coffee, perhaps with these two teenagers, or at least they are.
No, I'm
No.
first of all, I will use my new stun, the potions
Oh,
thing, and I
yeah.
will create a potion. That is mostly for the teenagers, though. Sorry. It's late, right? And TH is not a natural movement of my tongue for me. Anyway, so I will create a potion, which are kind of normal, like normal drugs, except they come in dorky bottles. Mine don't come in dorky bottles. They come in very fancy Hispanic-looking bottles, very colorful, and yeah. And they make you stronger, faster, hotter, awesomer, or maybe awakener, whatever. If you invest a fate point in making a potion, you can tie it to an aspect you make up for its effects. Anytime someone drinks it, they get that aspect, and 2 free invokes. It's a potion or a negative potion, blah blah blah. It's not a poison. It's a potion that makes you awake. That makes you stone cold awake. And I will invest, I guess, for 2 of them, I need to invest 2 fate points, right? Because
I think that
need
makes
2
sense.
potions. Yeah, okay, I will do that. Come on, that's what I got them for.
Cool. And is the aspect they get just awaker?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
But what's exceptionally awake? Is there a bird that's exceptionally awake? Something that's known for being very awake? Huh?
Woke.
Oh, no, that's not. We're in the 80s. There's no one is woke in the 80s.
All right. So I've added that to the scenes and aspects tab.
Yeah, and the kids can use these aspects. Can use that 2 times, 2 free invokes. I will just drink coffee for myself because I'm old, and if I fall asleep, well, fuck that. That guy's after teenagers.
Yeah,
and
so
I have
think,
a sweatband.
I mean, Ronnie will definitely start talking to you about what a great business venture this could be. Like, do you know? Like, she's really speedy. Like, do you know how much you could sell these for? Like, people would pay a lot of money for a drink like this. It seems.
Do you know how much it costs to produce these things, though? This is not. I mean, this coffee is cheap, but the ingredients that I've used for that they are hard to find. I mean, this is from an actual Mexican cactus, and there are these lice, right? You have to pick them by hand, and I know a guy, of course, who did that, but you can't get that in a convenience store.
There's lice in the drink. It's gonna be a big spit take as you say that.
You just go and drink it. There's not lice in the take. That's just it's just to catalyze certain effects, right? They're not in the drink themselves. They're filtered out.
So they definitely drink the drinks. Is there anything else that you want to do while you're hanging out with them? Or you're just
I want to talk. Just maybe talk to them what happened and get a feel for who they are, what their nightmares might be like. So what to expect if we go into one of their nightmares, right?
Yeah. So, Heather, why don't you roll to overcome an obstacle to see how much you can find out?
Okay.
Just a 0 difficulty. Like they're pretty willing to open up to you.
Okay. I think I'm using investigator, and then I will prove to you that I'm a great investigator by finding the dice roller somewhere, or maybe not.
Hang on, I'll press the link.
Is it somewhere in the?
There's on the safety tab.
Yeah, I found it. See, it didn't fail my roll.
Fantastic investigator.
Well, me as a player didn't fail the roll. Jaime still has to make his own. Yeah, there you are. And that's investigate, right?
Yeah. I mean, if there's another skill you want to use, you could suggest it, but investigate makes
I
sense.
doubt that I can go with occultist.
So like influencer or something like that, maybe.
No, I have maker, but that just means I can repair the coffee machine or create a new one. But I talk to teenagers. Is kind of investigate is cool. It's
Sure.
it's a 1, so I've made it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, they tell you a bit about like sort of boring suburban life. Heather's greatest fear is dying in this town. She really wants to get out. She wants to explore the world. She has pretty big dreams and visions. Not very specific, but just not staying in the same suburb her whole life. Ronnie is a bit more circumspect, like both generally and specifically when it comes to talking about what her fears are. She'll say like, something like sharks or something. Like she gives you this kind of like superficial fear, but it's clear that there's something sort of underlying it. And I think ultimately you'll figure out that her real fear is that she's just like her father.
Yeah, I can empathize with that.
Mhm.
I mean, not that I'll tell her, but I can.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to ask them about the town?
Anything they can tell me. I mean, I'll just try to establish sort of a baseline with these teens, so I can figure out how they work, how this town works, what the whole nightmare thingy was about. I mean, anything they can tell me that might be pertinent or not pertinent, and if they want to start talking about heavy metal and lipsticks, maybe that's a conversation for another time. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably all the useful information that you get out of them. They'll be pretty interested to hear about your Heather especially, this like quite romantic vision of your life traveling around in a van fighting monsters. She's really excited about that. It sounds great to her.
I will tell her that. Yeah, sounds very romantic, but my day job isn't, so still have to pay the bills. Gas isn't as cheap as it used to be.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll come back, but Christian and Becca, you have been processed, printed, dumped into cells in this dinky little suburban jail. There are these sort of bare prison bars across the aisle from each other. There's a narrow hallway that separates the women's cell, such as it is, from the men's cell, such as it is. There's a few people in the cells. It's pretty easy for you to figure out that the sleeping teenager the teenager who is like physically holding his eyes open, trying not to fall asleep, is probably Max. There's a couple of other people in the cells who are sleeping, look to be probably sleeping off a drunk in public as well. Nobody really looking like a terrifying hardened criminal or anything like that. What do you do?
I go sit down next to Max and say, "Sup, dude? We're here to..." And I look across the hall. It's like, Becca, are we here to like rescue or just like...
I mean, rescue kind of suggests jailbreak to me, but
Oh yeah, we can't do that, can we?
Yeah.
But like, dude, we believe you. We know it wasn't you. We know it's about it. We know it's all about the dreams. We're here to, like, I guess we're here to like
save you.
dream with
Let's
you.
go with save.
Save. Okay, yeah, that works.
How do you think that's going to happen? Like, what can who are you?
I clap him on the shoulder and say, "Trust us, dude. We're experts." My name's Christian Starr, lead guitarist in Lipsticks, capital LYP, capital STYXX. You've probably, if you haven't heard of us, I know some of your friends have.
Hey,
But,
did you give the desk sergeant a copy of your demo, Christian? Because I'm sure he can type
Shit.
it in.
I completely forgot. God,
Yeah.
I'll have to do that
It's
on the
like
way
the
out.
first person you've met in the last week that you haven't given
I
a
was
demo tape to.
handcuffed.
I mean, they would have taken your personal effects, so I assume he
Yeah.
does technically have a copy of the demo.
You're right. I do need to give him a copy, though. I mean, especially, he's a cop. He might get all bent out of shape and say that we're like satanic and like corrupting the youth and shit.
And you would say guilty as charged, wouldn't you?
I would say hell yeah to that. I mean, like, dude, do you realize how much press you can get if a cop says you're like a satanic threat to the children of a town?
I mean, it sounds like a real crowd pleaser. You sell a lot of concert tickets that way.
Right? Like, there's big money in that. That's how you get big. Like, you don't even have to believe the devil exists, but if other people do, then you're forget it. You're just set. But yeah, dude, back to you. We're here to help.
I think that Max is just looking at you like, I don't know who these people are, but I'm clearly not getting any sleep tonight, so I'm going to call that a win.
Okay, Max, eyes over here. Your friends, Ronnie and Heather, sent us to help you out.
Help me how? What are you going to do?
We're gonna slay this fucking dream demon.
Do you have weapons?
Yeah, or mines.
Are you pointing at the headband as you say that?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally
And I point at my pink headband, and it's like, trust me, demons don't like guitars.
That's great. Look, I appreciate that you're trying to help, but I'm just gonna sit over here, all right?
But
I
dude,
hope you will.
if you go to sleep, we'll be there to help you and protect you, and we can like draw out whatever Becca said this thing is that way. And plus I'm buzzed, and like in the real world, you're like invincible when you're like buzzing. Dude, in dreams it'll be even better because you're already invincible in dreams. So I'll be like double invincible.
I don't know. I mean, last time I went to sleep, something terrible happened. I just, I don't know if I can do that again.
I mean, what have you got to lose?
Do you want to roll to overcome an obstacle to try and convince him?
Sure, I will happily roll to overcome. Influencer, do you think?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I could spend a point. Well, I don't know. I mean, do you think I strike him as imposing enough to be considered a fighter?
Yeah, I buy that.
Okay.
I mean, the difficulty here is going to be pretty low. Like, you're trying to convince him to fall asleep, and he desperately needs sleep. So I'm just going to set it at 0 difficulty.
All right.
If you want to use that fate point, you can.
I don't even need to use the fate point if you're letting me roll with fighter, since I'm convincing him that we can do this.
Well, you have to spend the fate point for that still, right?
If you're letting me do it as a stunt, as opposed to just using the stat.
Yes, I think you need to use your bad reputation stunt if you want to roll.
Okay, so I'll roll influencer and we'll see how well that goes. And then if necessary, I'll swap it out.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alrighty.
Nice. All right, so Max, takes a deep breath. He looks at you both. He says, if you're wrong about this, someone's going to get killed.
Awesome.
And he looks like he's about to continue arguing with you, but he just falls asleep. He's been awake for like 3 days. He just doesn't have it in him anymore. He slumps down and starts to snore.
And I will like gently take off my jacket and kind of make a pillow for him. poor kid. And then look over at Becca, and it's like, going in?
Yeah. And I think, Becca sits down on a bench and, she has her habits. So I think she's going to still, like, even for sleeping on a bench, maybe a little bit foolishly in the jail, take off her Doc Martens to go for this deadly dream.
Nice. Good call. I mean, you got to take off your shoes when you're drunk. Otherwise, you're basically telling people that they can play pranks on you and stuff. So good call, Becca. And I'll take off my shoes.
So aren't we all going to the dream to fight this? I thought we were.
That's what I was going to ask. Is that your plan as well?
I mean, I thought that we weren't going. I was confused about what our plan was. I thought our plan was to keep the kids awake and then do it the next day or something. But if we're doing this today, I will happily drop off. I haven't drunk that much coffee.
Yeah. So the two kids that you were with are going to stay awake now, and you're going to let yourself fall asleep. John, Are you going to let yourself fall asleep as well, or what is your plan?
Yeah, I think John intends to stay awake all night and now work on his pitch for the Starbucks thing, but instead he's just going to, just as he stretches out and puts it aside and goes like, right now for the real work, he'll maybe slump over his desk and fall asleep with that head leaning on the sweatband on his wrist. All
right. And as you fall, your head like jerks up as you fall down. But this time, when you look around, you're no longer in your office. You're in this strange, uncanny version of a town jail. And Jaime and Becca and Christian are there with a teenage boy that you haven't seen before. And let's take our break here, and we'll come back and see what happens in the dream world. So about 5 minutes past the hour. Back in the nightmarish dream world where you have all found yourself in prison, as Jaime and John appear in this little prison cell, Max, the teenage boy, gets this terrified expression on his face. He's sort of gaping at you, the two of you, and then he says, You all wear those headbands?
Yeah. Dude, I'm in a band. Why wouldn't I?
It's just a little bit like 1985, don't you think?
You are trying to teach me about what's cool?
I made them, and I'm an old dude, so 1985 is basically yesterday for me anyway. So.
There's some sort of tremendous crashing, snarling, horrible noise just outside the door of the jail. He sort of flinches towards it.
So tell us, Max, what are you really afraid of? What's the stuff your nightmares are made of?
It seems like a really bad idea to talk about that right now.
We're here for one reason and one reason only: to kick the crap out of your nightmare.
Yeah, your own personal dream warriors. Now, come on, tell us. We're going to find out one way or the other, kid.
I don't really want to. I think he leans over to Christian, who he established at least some sort of rapport with, and he just whispers to you that he's really scared of public speaking.
And well, does Christian reveal that to the rest of us?
I kind of clasp his shoulder and look at him very solemnly and say, my dude, that is something I can totally help with. And I would like to create an advantage.
What are you doing to create the advantage?
I carefully explain to him that no matter what you're afraid of, Booze will get you through it.
I'm not sure that imparting that wisdom is going to be enough to create an advantage here. What's the aspect that you would be looking to create?
I'd be looking to create an advantage called invincible.
I mean, I think that it's just not available at the moment. Like, Max is very scared. Yeah, I don't think that you'd be able to do that.
Okay.
So, I mean, Becca, you've dealt with the dream demons before. What's the plan? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. I think like Becca looks around and kind of just wanders around the circle, looking out to the kind of edges, and says to you as well, "This bloody demon is coming for us, or coming for Max." But we're frosty, so it'll bide its time and hit us when we least expect, probably in the middle of some rousing speech or other that Christian will no doubt give. Or, if we really want to provoke it, we should, split up and go looking for it, right? That will definitely end up with it coming for us.
Max, does this demon like being insulted? Like, have you tried, like, just calling it names and stuff?
I mean, it was pretty mouthy. I don't know how it feels about being insulted itself.
I think Becca's suggestion is probably a little better, because this is a thing that waits for you to get you when you're really afraid of it. So I don't feel you can call it out by insulting it. It's a coward. It won't. Cowards don't come out if you yell at them. They're cowards. So.
But that's a good point, Jaime. I mean, how about Max? You should totally present to us what you're working on in school right now. You should give us some public speaking.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to? I mean, I wonder if you want to create an advantage or overcome an obstacle by somehow transforming the jail into a stage, a coffee house, something like that, wherever he might be doing his presentation.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm kind of suggesting his fear, and so almost unbidden, even if he's trying not to think about it, he's going to think about it, right? And so maybe just by putting that seed into him, he'll try not to think about it and then think about it. So
something like a classroom.
Yeah. So I guess okay, and yeah. So I think just roll to overcome an obstacle at +2, maybe with influencer to have that happen.
I have no influencing, but I do have organizer or socialite.
I think I think either of those totally would work.
Okay. Still only at 1. I am not. So flat roll, so +1 total.
So do you want to invoke an aspect to bring it up to a success?
Yeah, and I wonder if...
I mean, you have 3 invokes on your Sweatbands of Dream Control, your two-way dream connection. Quite a lot of stuff.
I'm not sure do they fit right now fictionally? I wonder.
I mean, they were created to control dreams, so.
So maybe I will give Max my headband, right? And maybe he thinks it's foolish, but we know it's real power. It doesn't rely on his belief. It's Jaime's magic, right?
Nice. So yeah, that'll work if you want to spend a.
Yeah,
so you don't need to spend a fate point. Just
okay. So
use one of the three
I'll
modes.
invoke that.
All right. So that'll make it a success. So he'll kind of look at you awkwardly and stammer, and you all feel, the shape of the dream world shifting around you, and the jail starts to sort of distort itself into this classroom, made up sort of equal parts of these rows of desks, along with prison bars and convict uniforms and things like that. There is a sort of cruel and wizened looking teacher standing in the corner, probably holding a theatrically overlarge cane. There are, there's writing on the chalkboard that says, 1, 2, Dream King's coming for you, something like that. Poor Max is suddenly at a lectern at the front of the room. Maybe even he's in his underwear or something, like a real nightmare public speaking situation. His palm cards are falling to the floor. He's stammering awkwardly. What do you do?
Are we maybe all suddenly sat in the front row of seats?
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is
And
there
I
somebody
think-
else there?
Yeah,
Sorry,
maybe there's
go ahead.
Sorry, Sabine, go ahead.
I was just wondering if we're the only people there.
There's definitely other students around. Some of them look to be the same people who were sleeping in the cells a minute ago, but other of them, just sort of weird dream figments. There's this mean-looking teacher, a sort of dreamy, paranoid feeling that there are things outside the classroom.
But there's this mean teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think I will. What can I do to him? I think I will start going over and I will ask him. Say, are you the one who's killing all these kids?
So Max will look relieved that the pressure is off him and he doesn't have to give this speech anymore. I think that the teacher will sort of round on you, Jaime, and just inexplicably knowing your middle name and things like that, will just say your full name, Jaime. I don't know what your middle name would be.
Fernando.
Jaime Fernando Gutierrez, get back in your seat. What do you think you're doing? This is going to be a detention for you. Detention, detention, detention.
Yeah.
And the classroom shakes ominously.
And I look at him and I say, yeah, you know what? I don't think so. You're not what I'm afraid of, teacher.
All right. So I'm going to add a tab. Where am I going? For this scene. All right, copy to existing spreadsheet. Sorry, it's just me being a little technically awkward. We'll have one for. All right, so we should have a tab now called Copy of Dreamland at the far right. The English teachers, or the mean teacher's sort of teacher appearance suddenly just fades away or vanishes. They reveal their true form, this horribly scarred man, handful of machetes, leering back at you, and you are face to face with Elmer Wagner, the Dream King, and he cackles and says, "Finally, some teenagers to." And he lunges towards Max.
Oh no, he don't.
So
He
Jaime, you're
doesn't.
the closest. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm trying to get in the way of him attacking Max.
All right. Do you want to roll to defend?
Yeah, I will roll to defend, and because I'm having my headband, and this is a dreamscape, I can roll with occultism. Occultism
Alright.
in this case.
So I guess he'll roll to attack first. So just bear with me for a second.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So he will attack with his nightmare skill at +3, and of course he has the edge because he's a monster. All right, so that is an 8 for his attack roll against poor
that
Max.
D6. That D6. No, that I want to defend, so I want to take that damage. I will get in his way. And defend.
You sure you want to take this, Jaime?
Yeah.
Be in the front line when you have a Slayer
Yeah.
on hand.
Sure. I mean, the Slayer is standing somewhere else. I'm here, so I don't like bullies. Really, I don't. And also, I have to reroll this because that's a -2, so we're at 2. That would be 6. Would that be 6 damage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can still live with that. Actually, I'll take it. Come on.
So the damage that you don't absorb is going to go through to Max. Like you're trying to block him from getting any.
Then I will absorb all the damage. I will take 4 of physical stress, and I will take a mild consequence, which is fine.
Oh. Okay, what's the consequence you're going to take?
I think I will get raked by the claws, by the machetes.
Yeah. Cool. All right, and you can pass the initiative to one of your teammates, and I sense that Becca is gagging for it right now.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. And I'll give it to Becca, of course. Go ahead, Becca.
I mean, I'm just waiting for something to hit me. I've got all these stunts about getting hit or not getting hit, as the case may be. So, I think I'm going to use one of my other stunts, feint. And I think there's some like classroom, I don't know, like a globe or something like that, or maybe a skull from their last school production of Hamlet, right? And I just chuck it at the Dream King to catch, to create an advantage.
All right. So you're sort of faking this attack to put him off guard.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. So I think he'll roll defend against your roll to create an advantage. So I guess roll to create an advantage using fight. Seems like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice. Let's see. I guess he will use the edge again, but he won't. His defense is not as good. All right, so that was a 5. You rolled a 6. So you succeed to create an advantage. So name the aspect that you create, and you're getting an extra free invoke on it.
I don't know. What do we call it? Like,
just distracted or something? Dream King's
well,
distracted.
I'm kind of going for like macabre distraction. Maybe the skull is kind of a memento of one of its past victims, that it's kind of caught up in the memories of its past victories. Maybe that. Maybe that
like
makes
murderous nostalgia.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, that's awesome. So all of you see that the Dream King, who does have the aspect washed up Dream Killer anyway, is like Yeah, just like really taken by this reminder of better times of murdering teenagers, and quite visibly distracted. Becca, who will you pass the initiative to?
So I guess let's go Christian, I think.
So,
Yeah.
a quick out of character question.
Mhm.
Since we're in a dream, we can basically kind of come up with anything, right?
I mean, to an extent.
Okay. Because I would like to create another advantage.
What's the advantage?
Wall of noise.
Oh, yeah.
And I would like to basically just stomp my foot and reveal that this is actually just an elaborate music video set. And there's a wall of Marshall amplifiers right next to the Dream King. And suddenly my guitar is in my hand and I just start playing a blistering solo to distract him and just basically take him completely out of his game.
Yeah, I love that. You definitely can attempt that. I think it's probably create an advantage using influencer.
Okay.
And he will get a defend roll as well. But go ahead and make your well, let's see how he rolls to defend, and then you can decide if you want to stack some aspects on that. All right, so he's got a 4, so you're going to need to, bring that up by 4 to succeed, or 3 to tie.
All righty. Let's see. I feel like this hits my vision board aspect because, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Eddie Van Halen, Nuno Betancourt, they are not playing guitar to throw a murderer who operates in dreams off his game. So this is definitely outplaying them.
Yeah, I buy that. That brings you up to a +3.
That ties it. And that takes me to 2 fate points. So it's what? Success with a minor cost or a complication?
So let me have a look. That sounds right. So you've tied to create an advantage. You don't manage to get an aspect, but you do get a boost. So you'd get a +2, like it's similar to an aspect, but can only be used once and doesn't cost a fate point to use.
But there's no drawback. There's no consequence.
No, it just means that you won't be able to continue using it. Or if you want to make it an aspect, then you can go ahead and invoke another aspect.
Yeah, but that means spending another fate point.
Yeah. I mean, you are doing quite well for aspects at the moment. So
I think I'll just leave it at the boost and let somebody pick it up if they need it.
All right. So the boost is called Wall of Noise.
Yep.
Nice. I've added it to the aspects list, but just so they know that it's a boost. So you have a choice. You can pass the initiative either to John or to the Dream King. The drawback to passing it to John is that because that will force John to pass it to the Dream King, he'll go twice if he survives the round. Which, with the amount of free invokes you have available, is a somewhat doubtful proposition.
Will, what do you want to do? Do you want to take a swing at this dude, or do you want me to pass it to the Dream King?
It's only just occurred to me that I could just pile on all of the stuff here.
Right? That's what you do. You've got how many +2s at this point?
So I also have my aspect of I think I changed it to the real story as well, right?
Right.
So like I think I'm gonna change everything to like I'm going to describe like the story about how they tracked him down to the junkyard and they killed him there, and like, you know, what was his worst nightmare, right? It's being a washed up person who died in the dark, and like turn it all back on him and just try and make him a victim of his own dreams.
So you are going to take your turn now? Is that?
Yeah, if that seems like a plausible way of attacking him, to try and stack everything on top, I'd be willing to take the risk to see if we can take him out in one
you're
round.
the writer. You're the one who can tell that story.
Yeah. I'm also, you know, it gives him if we don't kill him, then it gives an opportunity to make one of us suffer. But I volunteer to be that one.
Okay. I will pass it over to Will then.
So I think that's going to make it an attack roll using Influencer.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and make your attack roll, and then I'll make my defend roll, and then we can go from there.
Okay. So I am going to Influencer is +2, academic is +3. It's probably not worth spending it to be change my sorry, just thinking out of fate rule stuff out loud. Cool. So I roll with Influencer. Oof, not good. I'm gonna take a free invoke on the real story to re-roll that, I guess.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. That's a little bit better. And then I will just stack as many of the other invokes on top.
Let's see how many you're going to need. So he's going to roll first for his defense using Survivor. Because I understand he's defending more of like a psychic attack. All right, so his defense is 4.
Okay.
You're sitting on 1.
Okay.
Tell us about how you're, like, what's happening, how are you putting these aspects together?
Cool. Well, he's staggered back by the wall of noise, right? Like he's disoriented. And like it sends cracks running out throughout all of the classroom. And, you know, using my sweatband of dream control, I'm able to shape some of that psychic energy by, you know, like talking about all of the, like reading off this story to him. And, you know, because stories are how you shape dreams, which is what the hidden knowledge of the Watchers said, right? Like somewhere. Is that what hidden knowledge was, right? It was a hidden knowledge of dreams and stuff. So
yeah, well, I think the hidden knowledge was like the local teenagers' knowledge.
Oh, the local teen. Well, I'll invoke that to throw in all the details and things, you know, of like, oh, I know about when the people you killed and the parents, and they'll sit in there laughing at you. You know, they don't even think about you anymore. Like, and
sorry, I'm not keeping track of how many aspects.
Well, that's 4 more aspects, so that's 8, I guess, right? Like,
so
8.
So you're up to
I'm on 9 now.
9?
Yeah. And can I keep stacking them? Is there a point in that?
Yeah. So basically, his defense is 4, and for every point above that you score, you do 1 damage, basically.
Okay. Well,
so at the moment, you're doing 5 damage.
Okay.
You can see that he's starting to teeter, but it's going to take a little bit more to really like take him down, put him over the edge.
I stack on, you know, the murderous nostalgia, like luring as we crumble into these, like, you know, this like the dream shows us all of his crimes and his things like that. You know, there's a moment where he thinks that he's stepped back in and like a smile on his face, but then you can just hear John's narration, like telling the story about how it all went wrong for him. So that'll tick off his murderous nostalgia. So that's another +2, so 11. And then I will spend 2. I'll spend a fate point to invoke.
So with this one, I just want to say this will put him over the edge, and you will defeat him. So like, just work that into your narration.
Yes, so that was what I was thinking, right? Yeah. And it's the towers of junked cars in the junkyard.
Nice. You've chased him back to the junkyard.
Yeah, amazing. And he's running. You know, he's being chased by us, but like in his dreams, it seems as though it's that vigilante crowd, like about to kill him, and he runs, and you know, and he turns around with his machete hands, and then the towers of cars are all around him, just come crashing down on top. Like
nice. You've taken out the Dream King. He didn't even get a chance to raise his machete claw to you all.
Wow. Sorry, that was probably a bit
strike there.
Yeah, that was probably a bit of an indulgent use of all the fate points. But when you said it, I was like, great, got to use that, right? Like,
yeah.
Indulgent, whatever, you won. It's all good.
It's like rolling crit 20s on Divine Smite in 5e or something, right? Like, gosh.
Exploding crit 20s.
Yeah. Interesting. I've never seen that many fate-free aspects on a board before in any of the Fate games. And dreams mean that you can just pretty much invoke all of them, right? Like,
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So Max looks at you all with like great surprise, just like he can't believe that you really did that. Thank you. I can't believe you really did it. Is he really gone?
I'll do a quick sort of ritual to check because I don't trust this dude. I mean, he's been gone, but that doesn't mean he won't come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they usually work. So I think I will. I mean, I still have my. We still have a sweatband of dream control aspect there lurking around, and I think I will just use occultist to just figure out how the dream energy works in here because we're so lucid and I never know.
Okay, so you're trying to figure out how the dream energy works. Yeah, I think that makes sense, just to overcome an obstacle using occult. I think it will be quite hard, so I think maybe a difficulty of 4.
Okay. You know what? It's a sweatband, so it's ideal for working out stuff.
It's true.
But it is a 3, and I will use the free evoke that I still got left on the sweatbands of dream control. It's not a 5.
Okay, so as you perform this ritual over the sort of ethereal remains of the Dream King, what you realize about him is that he had the aspect washed up dream killer, and it's that washed up part that you start to focus on. You sense that this man used to be very powerful, but that the power has departed from him, like not when he was killed just now, but sometime in the past, and that the power over dreams that he used to wield so effectively has gone somewhere else. So you might have defeated the Dream King, but there is someone else with power over dreams now.
Okay. I don't think we can find him while we're in this dream, right?
I mean, I'm open to you trying, but I think that's probably right.
Yeah, I don't really have a great idea about how to find him.
Unless we suggest that, you know, for the Dreamer and the Dream King, there was that two-way connection, and maybe the Dream King has a similar relationship with whatever else has the power behind the throne.
Maybe there's like a dream within a dream. You know, maybe if only there was a word for that.
Sort of like an inception.
No, it doesn't sound right.
No.
Deja vu?
Yeah.
No.
But if it's really over, when will we wake up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to, if you want to continue with like some more dream scenes, then we'll do that. But otherwise, I would just cut ahead to you waking up the next morning.
Wait, we have power of lucid dreaming here, right? Like we can control all of it. John is going to dream about Starbucks. And he says, right, well, now that job's done, I need to do some real research.
Can I help?
Sure. And, you know, like someone in a green apron hands out a cup with lipsticks like written on the side or something, right? And, you know, I'm happy to just fade out on that.
Nice.
Yeah, I should probably try to wake up and figure out if I'm cut in real life. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you all wake up wherever you had gone to sleep. You, Jaime, will see that you still have the machete cuts where the Dream King left them.
Oh.
It's like, around dawn, I guess. You're in the diner still. The girls will sort of hurry over. They have stayed scrupulously awake all night. Are you? Did you do it? Are you okay? What happened?
Yeah, we did it. We took the murderous Dream King guy out. It wasn't the end of the line, though. Everybody's fine. Max is fine. Can you? I should get to my van and patch this up. I'm gonna be fine as well.
All right. Well, thank you. They let
Sure.
you head off.
Sure. I mean, you're paying us, right?
Didn't you just say it wasn't the end of the line?
Huh. Yeah, but okay. I guess I said that. I'm not gonna argue. Gonna disinfect whatever. I don't know if there are stream bacteria, but I don't want to have them.
Yeah, that's sounds smart. All right, so you're able to bandage that up. The Becca and Christian, the police rouse you and process you out early the next morning, with some stern warnings not to let anything like this happen again. I mean, Becca, you definitely get more of a like. You seem like too smart a girl to be hanging out with. Like this guy really.
And I nod.
I try to give anyone who will actually take one a copy of my demo.
None of the police will take your demo.
Does that get me tossed out the door, like, kind of scrambling into the parking lot?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Like and don't come back, like door slam behind you.
Well, your jail's crappy anyway.
Becca, I assume that you need to get back for work. Christian, I guess you probably have a coffee shop shift as well. Jaime, you need. Sorry, I was just checking the rules about recovering from consequences. So it's a +2 to overcome roll to resolve the consequence.
Okay.
Do you want to patch yourself up?
Yeah, I think I should, huh?
You've got medic, I think.
I've got medic, yeah, I do. I will try to patch myself up. Otherwise, I will come down with dream bacteria, I guess, which is kind of funny.
All right.
Yeah,
it's a tie.
That's
a tie.
It's a tie.
So what do you get on a tie to overcome an obstacle?
I think a minor consequence. I think something like that.
Yeah, you succeeded a minor cost. You see that the opponent gets a boost. Yeah, I mean, I think the minor cost is going to be that you have this like quite prominent bandage on your arms, and everyone is going to see that you've been in some sort of scuffle or altercation. All right, John, you wake up. Oh, sorry, Jaime, were you going to say something?
Oh, I said that's fair.
John, you snap awake at your desk. You feeling prepared for your?
The way I'm imagining it, right, is that John wakes up, right, like but it's like the comfiest sleep he's ever had on his desk, right, and he's like, and he looks up and he like, smiles, looking completely disheveled, and he's like, oh man, they're gonna love this, and then he realizes that he's slept in, and he's late for his meeting with. Because he did stay up all night, but he stayed up longer and got wired to work on all of this stuff, and then fell asleep. So yeah, he's ending. He's going to dash into his meeting, and he's going to try and explain his dream, and like that, he can't quite remember it. So. Starbucks. What does Starbucks mean? Well, you know what it means. I know what it means, but does everybody else know what it means? And he just starts rambling on with no things. And I think at the very end of it, he's going to desperately throw out, when he seizes upon the fact that it's like an Italian coffee, that's being imported. He's going to say like, "Oh, don't call them small, regular, large. Everyone knows that, right? You can get that at McDonald's. It's whatever. I don't know the Italian." Like, yeah.
Do you want to make an influencer roll to see how successful your pitch is, or are we just going to deal with that fictionally?
To be honest, I'm fine with him missing out on that. I think it'd be more fun for me for John not to get that opportunity than it would be for him to do. I could call that as a compel that, couldn't I? As one of my things, like a day job.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that you're self-compelling, fueled by more than creativity.
Yeah.
So yeah, grab yourself a fate point. And then
should I take a consequence or a stress or something for it as well? Or
no, so when you self-compel, when you compel an aspect, you just gain a fate point.
Okay, cool. I thought maybe it had other things, but cool. Thanks.
And like, what does John do after the pitch? Like, does he know that he blew it completely, or is he too addled to realize?
He's strangely exhausted. Like, he thought it felt like it was a great sleep, but then after trying to remember, he's just suddenly really, really tired. And he's going to go back to try and type up, his book, his latest pitch for a book. Like he's going to open his, The Morpheus Murderer.
Nice.
Still working on his title.
And I think that, like, not too long after you get started on that, the bell over your door rings and Nikki Stolos strolls in, looking very, like, happy, very proud of himself and pleased. He says, "John, just wanted to say I'm really sorry that you missed out on that big Starbucks account." He puts down a large, well, what do you call it? A grande Starbucks in front of you.
And I bet you
not
even
hard
says
feelings, right?
Yeah, and he even says a grande, like he stole my idea, and he actually knew the Italian, so they hurt me. Yeah. John just disdainfully says, "Well, I don't think that company's going anywhere. You asked me 10 years time, no one's going to have heard of Starbucks, but this is the real work, Nikki. So I'm working on my opus." And I push him out of the office.
Yeah, he like rolls up his sleeve to reveal his like quite expensive Rolex that he's bought himself with his Starbucks money. He says, "Yeah, you're right. I should be getting back to the office." Making sure to very conspicuously display the watch to you while he pretends he's just checking the time.
Yeah, conspicuously like holds out his Lambo keys as he goes, right? Like, yeah. John scowls and then locks the door and drinks the coffee. Next his time. Right.
So Becca, your workday is very quiet in the sense that nobody is coming in because Starbucks has just opened across the way. There is a long queue of patrons waiting to get their Starbucks coffee. Only a very slow trickle. But your day is very busy in the sense that this provokes your boss into just a frenzy of anxiety, like constantly like ranting about how we need to do something. Becca, what do we can you make your coffee more like that? Like what? Becca.
More like what? Like milky, but with Italian names? I mean, I don't know.
Is that what we should do? We should get some Italian names. Like
sure.
Michelangelo.
I don't speak Italian, but
no.
Just like I don't know. Like I don't know. Let's call them after operas or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's an idea. I mean, I'm sure we both know a lot about opera, but why don't you name one first?
I mean, no, he's German. No, I don't know any Italian operas.
I mean, Becca, we've got to work something out. I mean, if nobody's coming in for coffee, then, I mean, I don't want to let anyone go, but...
Well, hey, I mean, Starbucks look like they'll need some extra staff, so that's okay.
Becca, you can't leave me like this! I think maybe we'll fade out on that scene there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Becca is like a little bit too tired to really have much fight in her, or for her cafe or her job. It's like,
yeah. Well, you are the least popular barista at the least popular cafe.
It's true. It's true.
All right, Jaime, how does your workday start out?
Not that great because A, I'm tired because that sleep was not very relaxing, and B, I've got this bandage on my arm and I only have the one arm and it hurts, and I got maybe dream bacteria, which is not a thing, I know that, but it still feels like it because my brain is a bit in overdrive because I drank too much coffee and then I fell asleep and anyway. Yeah, I'm sitting in my office and then people, and I'm also nervous about the professor that I tried to exorcise but failed to do that. So I'm doing my job for once. I'm trying to really do my job, like doing the busy work that I've put off for a while now, so like fixing this thing and then going and fixing this thing and waiting for the other shoe to drop, basically.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that at some point you are going to get called into the office of the head of, what is it, custodial services department.
Oh, damn it.
So I don't know, what's a good name for the head janitor?
Not the head janitor, the facility manager, please.
Facility manager.
Facility manager, and I think it's a she. Her name is Carrie Staples.
Carrie Staples.
Yeah, she's not related to the office supply guys.
So Carrie, calls you into her office, sits you down. She says, "Jaime, we've had some. Look, I've got a very disturbing report from one of the professors here. Do you wanna tell me what this is all about?"
Well, I mean, we had a religious discussion. It was very disparaging of Christianity.
He says that he contracted you to do some work, and you both stole a book of some value that belonged to him and a check for $500.
We did not do this. No, that's not precisely what happened.
Well, I mean, Jaime, it's a professor. Do you have any? What did happen precisely?
It's really hard to explain. Maybe I should take this up with him. That would be maybe a little bit easier because, okay, you know what? The thing is with this guy, I think he might be into Satanism. And that book that he had me get him, I think it was a satanic book. So I didn't want to give it to him. I gave him a Bible instead. So he had a book, right? That's appropriate.
Oh my goodness, a satanic professor scandal could sink this whole university.
Yeah, see, that's maybe not just, that's why I didn't say anything about it, because I knew the reputation of the university is very important to me.
What are we going to do? So I think that you probably need to roll to overcome an obstacle here.
Yeah, I was afraid you'd say that.
I'm not sure quite what skill you would use for this.
Survivor?
Oh yeah, sure. Why not? I think a +4 difficulty makes sense. Like you are trying to overcome the word of an academic
Yeah.
of some standing.
Here. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's I need yes, I got fate points. So I am I mean I think I'm a blue collar guy, right? I would not be able to make something like that up. I'm playing totally into this whole come on, underestimate me. And then that means that I get a 4, so it's a success with a minor hook.
Yeah. So yeah,
My
I mean, I
hook.
think you'll succeed. You'll convince them, but they're they're going to keep a bit of an eye on you now. Would be the minor cost.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
All right. Cool. And Christian, tell me about how your workday starts out.
Well, I got to work, listened to that awesome demo tape from those kids at the convenience store, and I've already called and got him on the bill. I got him on the bill for the next show, and I think that's when Dennis comes in.
So actually, it's when a man that you don't recognize comes in, who looks a little out of place at the coffee shop. He's wearing quite a nice suit. As he walks in, he reaches into his jacket and he pulls out your demo tape, and he sort of waves it at you. He says, "Is this yours? Are you part of the band Lipsticks?"
Yeah, I'm Christian Starr. I play guitar for him, lead.
Oh, that's great. So it's he pulls out something from his pocket. He looks something else. So it's McKinley. Is that it?
No, it's Starr. Why do you ask?
He will pass you a bundle of documents in like some sort of envelope, and just extend it for you to take.
I look at him warily.
Mr. McKinley, you need to take these documents. You need to see what it says.
Is this like some legal stuff? Because I heard that if I take it, like, I heard that I don't have to take it.
Oh, you have to take it.
No, I don't. And at this point, I'm going to go behind the counter because, as everyone who works in a retail or service facility knows, when you're behind the counter, customers can't go back there.
Yeah, I mean, he'll accept
like
that.
A law.
He'll like tuck his envelope back in his pocket. He'll say, "Mr. McKinley, I'm just going to wait and talk to your employer. I have some important legal documents here that I need you to take. I think that your boss will want to know that you are refusing to do that."
I mean, Dennis knows that I refuse to do a lot of things, so I'm sure that's not going to surprise him in the least.
Well, I think he might be interested to know that my employer could create a lot of problems for him as your employer.
Dude, will you just stop harshing my day and tell me what the hell is going on? I mean, if you're honest with me, you got a shot that I won't give you a hassle. Right? Like this whole, what do you call it? Submarine fuse or something like that? This thing, dude, just be straight up.
Mr. McKinley, you are in violation of my client's copyright. You may no longer use the name Lipstick, howsoever spelt, for your little garage band or what have you. If you persist, my client will seek compensatory damages from yourself. Well, I suppose really that would be a lien on your mother's home, as well as the other members of the band.
Well, I mean,
he again offers you the documents. You should read this. You should get some advice about it.
Dude, just so you know, I'm going to hire a kick-ass lawyer, and we're going to rock you. I don't even know who your client is, but, they're going to rue the day they messed with Christian Starr.
I'm sure you're right. Well, good day.
Whatever. And I look at it, grumbling.
And so, I mean, what you see is that it is a set of legal documents served on you on behalf of a law firm that claims that you are in violation of a copyright on the name Lipsticks and enjoining you not to use the name in future.
Does it say who is, in fact, the copyright holder?
Yeah, I mean, that's a little odd. It seems like the law firm claims to be the owner of the copyright, which doesn't really seem to make sense. But let's take a short break here and we can follow this up. Maybe just 5 minutes?
Sure.
Cool. All right. So I'm thinking of cutting here to like a point where you've all finished up work for the day and you have a chance to get together, think about what your next steps might be. You know that there's some other dream power. Christian has a problem with a law firm. It's various other problems out and about. There is an undead demon professor scurrying around, creating trouble for Jaime. And there's some more personals in the back of the Weekly World News if you want to look back at those. Did we establish, do you have a spot that you go to meet up?
Don't we just go to the cafe where Becca works or something like that? Or is that?
It's going to be a depressing environment right now.
I mean, yeah, sure, it's depressing, but
at least it's not busy.
But at least they get some customers in today.
what other?
Yes, he's just so happy that the
And it's not as
are.
over. It's not as overrun as that Star Wars Bucks track joint over there, whatever that's called.
Daddy Warbucks, my ass. I'll get my coffee here. I like it weak and watery.
Hey.
So did anyone get paid yet for this?
No.
I mean, someone
We're supposed
apparently
to get
told them that this is not the end. So
What?
Sorry.
I guess we got to go back and kill the Dream Emperor or whatever it is.
Look,
Well-
it wasn't me this time.
Yeah, that was.
We
really
could have at
sorry.
least had half, Christian. We would have at least had half.
Well, don't blame it on me. I mean,
John will drink his cup of coffee with a small grimace, and then tip another, sachet of sugar and sweetener into it.
so do
Wait a minute. Are you saying that I'm everyone's least favorite barista because I can't make good coffee? Because I thought it was my winning personality.
Becca, you have many great skills making coffee. Maybe it's not the top one of them.
might not be top 5.
It's
mean,
coffee. It's fine. It's coffee. It's got.
Right.
It wakes me up.
Exactly. I mean, it's like we don't need fancy names or anything like that.
Why would
That's
we need
that's for
fancy
album
names?
titles and like song lyrics and stuff.
Yeah, don't worry, they'll be out of business before you know it. Whoever heard
gotta-
of whoever heard of coffee from
Starbucks,
Seattle?
like, this is their, effort at going national. This is like their 10th store or something.
Like, do you know how hard it is to go national, though? Like, we're still just trying to work up the bill here.
So we got to get paid, though, right? We put all that work in. Did you see, we did all that? We need to get our paycheck, right? Or we give up, but I don't think we're at the sunk cost step yet.
Could we go back and say we'll get rid of the real cause of this trouble and then get paid, or get paid half to go back in?
I feel like our leverage has been pretty worn away by some people's promises.
Have I didn't say I said we'd go and figure out who was behind this, and I think actually we should,
Yeah.
because we did. The job was to make sure that these kids were safe from these dream attacks, and we didn't. We made sure they were safe short term, but there's still something behind that.
How did
So-
some washed up nobody like some psycho like Wagner even get hold of this kind of whammy? You know?
Yeah,
Power,
well,
fear.
like he is not the dream demon, or he wasn't the dream demon. There was another dream demon that was fueling him.
Mhm.
I wonder if that I don't know, was he held at that? And I'm gonna look back at my notes. And was Elmer Wagner held at the same asylum, like with the strange drugs and surgical tools?
The, so I think that there'll definitely be records that you've been able to dig up of him spending time in that hospital, not after he was arrested, but I think you've unearthed some sealed medical records or something that show that he spent some time there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a long shot, but maybe some kind of wacky treatment or something made him this way, and maybe whoever the Dream Emperor is, I don't know, but that was more than just magic, you
think they're sitting at the asylum?
It's just a lead, you know. Anyway, I need some more material for the book, for the chapter about the pool party killer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, then we should somehow get in there. Maybe we can go in there as a kind of, I don't know, electrical company looking for odd charges, stuff like that. Some fluctuations in the electrical grid.
We could check Christian in.
I was
I've
not
got
going to
enough
suggest it,
problems.
but I was thinking of.
I've got
We're
enough
all thinking
problems. Like, I'll go to jail, no problem. But like, you want to put me in a nut house? No, come on.
I mean,
Like-
I feel actually John would be the better option, because writers often have psychic mental problems, right?
Writers
And also,
always
you'd have a
crack
better
up.
chance of getting out again.
Yeah, but think about your reputation, man. You know?
I mean, what is a more compelling story than one written by someone who is themselves a little bit insane? And you have the certification to prove
point.
it. The depths of insanity from inside the asylum.
Also, you can always say it was just for research,
But people
which
always wonder.
actually would be true.
Like, remember that whole thing about Ozzy biting the head off of a bat? Like, even if it was just a legend, even if it didn't happen, people believed it. Except I think he did do that. Was it doves? Supposedly he bit the head off of something that he didn't bite the head off of, I think. Or is that another bit? Anyway, it's a great story, and kids talk about it all the time. So, it's your rep.
So I think that maybe the best way of going at it, well, what I really want to do is I want to wander up there, and then I want to invoke my "Am I a suspect?" Just to have
cool.
a grisly crime take place while we're there.
So remind me how that works.
You could go in there and just claim that you're doing research for a book.
Yeah. But I'm just gonna go up to generally poke my nose around, and then just happen to be there when anytime a grisly crime happens, or you want a grisly crime to be happening in the story, you can spend a fate point to create a scene element, so long as you stipulate that you're relatively nearby.
So you're going to go there to on whatever pretense, and then you're going to spend the fate point to have a grisly murder just happen.
Yeah, I came prepared to sort of do something about the great work that these selfless humanitarians are doing here, and how they've helped such troubled souls and things like that. Probably I'm disapproving secretary, and then sat in a waiting room or something, and then scream down the corridor or whatever. Right.
All right.
And I mean,
So
I can totally go parallel as the electrical guy who's looking at stuff. So we'd both be in there if something happens, So you'd have some sort of backup. And you can have an assistant like Becca, and I can have an assistant like Christian, or the other way around.
So do you all want to head to the hospital, or is there other stuff that people are wanting to do? Christian, do you have anything in mind?
I'm still looking at that envelope that says we have to change our name. I say, do any of you know a lawyer?
I've read a few law books. Sold some copy for some legal text once.
John, can you take a look at this? Because this seems like a lot of bullshit to me, but
can I look at it and use Grifter, perhaps? Like to
Sure. Yeah, I think that works. Go
Yeah.
ahead and roll to overcome an obstacle using Grifter.
Can we escalate it a bit further to be maybe that I go to the payphone and say cockily that I'll have this taken care of in no time at all, Christian, and I'm going to reel off some, try and overwhelm, like bluff my way to say that he's got legal representation, basically.
I mean, what you're going to find if you do that is that, like, this is an expansive law firm. Like,
Yes. Yeah. I'm imagining it's going to be quite a high difficulty to do any of this.
Well, so what I want to say, like, so before you get to that, as you like look over this paper and think about what you might do, you can't help but notice that one of the lawyers, the lawyer who signed the papers, Ronald Blakely, you connect back on your conspiratorial thread board as one of the parents from Western Hills, one who you think may have been involved in the death of Elmer Wagner all those years ago.
Well, someone should go maybe pay Mr. Blakely a visit. He's clearly connected to this case somehow. So me and Jaime could go to the thing, and you guys could go check out Blakely.
You're
How do you guys want to
definitely
play?
the subtle kind of people who you want, mucking around with a lawyer. Yeah.
That's a very good point, isn't it? Hey, I can go.
Let's stir the pot.
maybe that's the Dream Emperor they were talking about.
Hey.
Or not. Maybe he's just a lawyer, which is actually almost more evil than a Dream Emperor, right?
God, remember when you guys just had to deal with like simple things like a machete-handed asshole?
Yeah, that was nice.
All right, so does that mean that John and Jaime are going to go to the hospital and Christian and Becca are going to like somehow investigate the lawyer? Are you going to try and make an appointment with him? Are you going to try and follow him around? Like, what's that going to look like?
Maybe Becca could pose as Christian's lawyer and request an appointment.
Is that remotely believable?
I will totally defer to Becca on this point because, as we all know, planning is not my strong suit.
Does he have a kid?
Does he have a kid? You think he must because it was parents who were being quoted in the article that you looked at.
Well, Christian's friends with the kids, right? And
is one of his kids from the convenience store?
Not that you know of. You don't think so. I think it would take like some more research to figure out who his kids might be. I don't think that's immediately obvious.
Yeah, but I mean, if you ask like Ronnie or Heather or Max,
sure.
They're teenagers in this area, so they know.
If you just want to give them a call or something, is that the plan?
I just as a suggestion, if you guys want to go
sure.
chat with him around, then by all means,
What I will say is that if there's an offer to go to the diner where Heather works, Christian will be all over that because he's kind of sweet on Heather. And I'm assuming Heather's 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I pitch an idea, which is a
Sure.
little bit left field and maybe switching genres a little bit? I wonder if I could use Guerrilla to mobilize all of the kind of high school / kind of college age kids who are, of a metal ilk, if you know what I mean, to kind of be like spies to find out like what Blakely is up to.
That's awesome.
So I think that you'd need to use organizer for that. I think
Okay.
that's the skill that's relevant for that sort of thing.
Sure.
But yeah, you can spend the night trying to set yourself up with a network of spies who can report back on what Blakely might be up to. Just in terms of the sequence, are you going to go with Christian to the diner first, or are you going to sort of strike out on your own to start teeing that up? Or
Yeah, I mean, I think Christian is my way into that group, right? He's already kind of trusted, or at least conversant with some of them.
all right.
And actually, like Christian has a really good organizer skill, so
Nice.
They
so
trust
much.
my bona fides.
Yeah.
Right.
Which,
All right. So let's start with a scene in the diner. So you go back there to meet up with Heather and Ronnie again. And what do you want to ask them, or what do you want to say?
Heather, I we helped you out. I could use a little bit of help.
Sure. What do you need?
So, like, there's this totally bogus parent out here. His name's Ronald Blakely, something like that.
Blakely? You mean
Yeah.
Ronnie's dad? What's he got to do with anything?
Well, I got these papers today. Like, some dude in a suit walked into the copy shop and handed me this stuff that says my band can't use the name Lipsticks anymore.
Look, I mean, Ronnie's dad is the scariest lawyer that I know. If you got to watch out. He doesn't mess around.
Right, but it's like, why us? I want to find out what's going on.
because we're digging into the wrong kind of info, right?
I mean, Heather will scrunch her face up like, well, you don't think that Ronnie's dad has anything to do with what's been happening to us?
I mean, we found information that said that some parents from this place, killed the dude who was terrorizing your dreams and murdering people in their sleep. Don't know. He might be one of them.
What are you going to do?
Just,
We need to find out what he's really up to.
yeah.
Ronnie might even help us.
Yeah, I mean, she'll probably be here soon. What do you want Ronnie to do?
He's going to have some, I don't know, like a diary, a dream diary, some kind of journal where he has all his plans,
Or just like notes or anything like that. Look, I know Lipsticks wasn't the greatest name, but it was ours, and we worked hard on it. Do you realize how much effort it takes to figure out what letters to capitalize in a band name?
Yeah, I just had this flash of the band members sitting around a garage for hours and hours arguing about which I should be a Y. We
compromised on both.
Very mature of you. Yeah. So Yeah, I mean, Ronnie arrives. She like hears what you have to say. She says that she can like try and like get her dad's diary or something, but he's like, you know, he's a bit like he's a bit of a neat freak. You know, he doesn't really leave things lying around. It might be tough, but I'll give it a go.
Maybe we can do that like during his Saturday morning squash game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and I guess she'll say, whatever he leaves lying around at home, like his real material is in his office. Like he spends such long hours there. We barely see him at home anymore. But she'll also, a bit plaintively say, like, look, I don't think my dad's like a good guy, but I don't think he would be mixed up in, dream murders. Like,
does your dad have like a personal assistant at the office or something?
Yeah, Chloe.
Chloe. I wonder if we can get Chloe to send some of his office files to your home.
You want me to like call up and pretend that my dad needs them transferred?
Yeah,
Guess
courier them right over or whatever.
How would I know which files to ask for?
You have to say like everything for the lipsticks account or whatever.
I mean, I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble if I do that.
I mean, like we did show up and take care of that dude who was like murdering all of you in your sleep, right? And we haven't gotten paid for it. So I mean, it's like we showed up and we risked our lives to help you out. I mean, I feel like this is kind of fair, don't you?
Fine. She will try and arrange that. I just want to go now to a scene over at the hospital. So, excuse me. So, Jaime and John, I understand that you're arriving sort of separately with different cover stories. Is that right? So, Jaime, you turn up. You say you're here to look at the circuit boards or
I'll
something.
trick out my magic van. So
Mhm.
it's looks like a service van of an electrical company, and I take up a clipboard, and I have an EMP thingy EMP meter that I've well, it's a personal construction, and I will can I create an aspect when I make this thing so it will show odd stuff, right? Like it will say, "Hey, this is dangerous now," but it looks like a normal meter.
Oh, like so you could just trigger it to kind of like go off so it looks. Oh yeah, I think you can do that. I don't think you need to roll for that. I think that's like simple enough.
Okay.
For someone with a good maker skill. So I guess what you'll see when you arrive at the hospital is that, like, most of it is fairly accessible. Like it is more like a hospital than an asylum, except for the secure ward where the pool party massacre guy was incarcerated. Where they hold dangerous, potentially dangerous individuals. So you can get in pretty easily. You can walk around. You can talk to people and ask questions. But things like obviously the medical files are kept somewhere more secure, and that part of the hospital is more secure.
Do they have them on computer yet? Probably not, right?
Probably not. I think we're talking about manila folders. I think we're talking about manila folders.
Oh, okay.
And filing
I don't know. I have a hacking skill though. What?
Oh.
I don't know what I could do with that.
That is a good question.
Right.
So I think that, what does it say about what hacking does?
I mean, it's mostly the 21st century hacking things. Well, we can figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what I'm inclined to say is that, like, the hospital, it's a public hospital. It probably doesn't have a lot of money. It hasn't got very much of its system onto onto computer yet. But something like a fancy law firm, they probably have computerized a lot of their records. So that's the more upmarket sort of services and companies might be where it comes in handy.
Yeah, on the other hand, it might just be something like knowing how bureaucracy works, where to find
Oh,
the
yeah.
folder that you're looking
Yeah.
for in a hospital, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I buy that.
I think in the 80s, like the bigger thing, it sort of paints it as kind of like phone freaking, if you know what that is, like, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
Usenet and stuff like that, and like you could use it to sort of like talk on the forums and find things out as well.
Oh, okay.
But
BBS is
yeah, I would suggest that maybe like, because it's the 80s, there could be like transistors and micro, like a computer component of a thing, right? Like the earliest stuff that you could maybe like have a little silly like Atari, like like little keyboard, or like in John Connor kind of has in that Terminator movie from the 90s.
yeah, T2.
T2, yeah.
One other thing that
like
actually
the early model.
grounds it in reality is that universities would have been connected to DARPANET, which was the precursor to the commercial internet.
Yeah, okay.
I did also think that it was a very big stretch to try and think of how to use hacking.
But
Yeah,
I'm sure that the law firm would have,
Yeah,
you could dial in and probably access files from home and that sort of thing.
yeah,
So,
okay.
Um,
Also, I could work with phone numbers maybe, so it would show that this was an official government number that calls and not just janitor from some university. But no, right now I'm at the hospital and trying to figure out where weird stuff happens, because that's what we're looking for, right? We're not looking for normal stuff. That's John's thing. He's looking for
Well,
normal stuff. I'm looking
John's
for the
about to find a
supernatural
body,
stuff.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So John's
I'm
about
about-
to find a body.
which the chaos of a grisly crime happening nearby, which may implicate me as a suspect, could provide Jamie, as in his janitor, in his overalls and stuff, like a chance to slip into an office or something, or like get behind a desk and pull some folders.
Sure. So, John, tell us about, like, you arrive and you say that you want to do some research about, like, the stuff for a magazine article or something.
Yeah, so you do such good work here for children outreach. Like, really, you guys are heroes, and we were just trying to do a story about selling the good, really, like really promoting everything that you give back, and the most troubled people, like you try and save people that other people have written off entirely, right? And I weasel my way around into like the pool party killer, and how that, like, you tried to understand these poor troubled people, kind of stuff.
So the desk staff will pretty quickly identify that, like, the person you want to talk to is Dr. Martin. She's the one who's done all that amazing work. She's the really dedicated one. But this conversation will be interrupted by screams as a body is found nearby.
Yes.
And you see people rushing.
I clearly like follow some of the running people, right? Like pushing past them through the door and everything into the room.
Yeah, so you see like a hospital room. It's reasonably well appointed. The person who is staying there has been violently ripped apart. There are pieces of them, literally spread around the room. You kind of awkwardly step over a piece of thigh as you like come in. Blood is everywhere. It's very unclear. Well, I guess to you it's clear that this can't have been done. There's no way this could have been done naturally, or physically. Something terrible and supernatural has happened here. And one of the doctors is sort of like kneeling on the floor, holding the hand of this dead teenager, which is still just barely attached to his shoulder and most of his head. And she looks up at the sky and screams, "No, not again!"
What happened? Yeah, and I'm assuming this is Dr. Martin, right? Who's screaming?
It is Dr. Martin.
Yeah. you know, as in the chaos and the push of like people in, and then someone says like, "Who's get him out of there?" kind of thing. To see when they see John inside, he's gonna, you know, reach out and slip her his card, and he's gonna say, you know, you want this to stop happening? We can make it stop happening. Maybe saying it in such a way that anyone who was to overhear it might possibly suspect that he's somehow connected with whatever the hell's gone on there, right? Like,
Nice.
so I'm trying to convince her to maybe, you know, call me immediately after here, or like come and meet me outside or something, you know.
Yeah, so she'll definitely be receptive. Like if she thinks that you might know something about what's going on, she will come and talk to you. And I guess also, you know, she wants to keep her eye on you because you're a stranger who's around when all this has happened. But let's come back to that in a second. So Jaime, definitely the staff at the hospital are distracted now. There's been this grisly murder, so you have a pretty good opportunity if you want to do some sneaking around or.
Yeah, I want to do some sneaking around. Maybe. Now I don't know about that. Dr. Martin might be the one. I might try to. Sorry, I'm distracted by this hair. Yeah, I might either try to get into this asylum, but what I'm really looking for is actually signs of occult significance, because we're not talking about a normal person here, a normal killer. And a manila folder won't necessarily tell us what we really need to know, which is who is messing with dreams and supernatural stuff, right? So that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, so I think that'll be a pretty simple overcome an obstacle action using occultist.
Yeah, okay. I think I can do that, maybe.
Yeah.
Would be nice if I could roll well. But,
well, that is that is more than enough.
Okay.
So, and you're looking specifically in the secure part of the hospital?
Yeah, if I can get there, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, right now I have the distraction thanks to
Yeah,
John's odd luck.
Yes, luck. I
mean, this can't have. This wasn't planned, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, what you'll find is that there is a particular. I mean, I guess they call them rooms, but they might look more like cells. That, you know, most people wouldn't see anything, but you do notice that there are protective wards drawn around the door. They could work in both ways, but it seems like they're designed to keep something out rather than to keep something in. They clearly are like old and dusty. They're not fresh or new. They look like they've been there for at least a few years. But certainly someone knew enough to pretty rudimentarily try to ward this cell.
Okay, and then now I need to go and figure out whose cell that was.
Yeah. All right, so we'll come back for that. So, John, you get a chance to talk to Dr. Martin, and she, you know, as soon as you're away from other people, she pretty quickly sort of snaps to attention and says, what do you know about what's going on here?
And I so I go, well, I know that these kids are dying, and I know what's killing them. And I try and, you know, and I say like, look, this is going to sound crazy, but what just happened in there was crazy, right? Do you remember the pool party killer? And I launch into the recap that cuts away because no one needs to hear the whole plot be repeated to the audience. And I'm making the pitch of like that, you know, there's something more than just Elmer Wagner. Like, did he spend some time here? Like maybe something happened, and just, you know, try and convince her that we're here to stop that kind of thing, and she can help.
Are you sticking to sort of mundane facts, or are you openly talking about this person being like a dream killer?
I'm saying that, like, yeah, I am openly saying that, like, a dream killer. Yeah, and I'm going to
Right.
call upon, if I need to, right? But we'll be calling upon my shallow but wide literary knowledge and talk about Jungian. It's like a Jungian slasher or something like
Nice.
a monster from the id. Um,
So I mean, you won't need to roll for that, because as soon as it's clear that you know what's up, she'll accept that and she'll want to help. She'll tell you that she's been fighting this guy for years now. The first time he came back, he killed a bunch of my friends. That's how I got into this job, to help kids who'd been through things like me. But I really thought a couple of years back we had finally dealt with him. We found his remains. We consecrated the ground that they were buried in, and it really seemed like that had finally put him to rest, or at least taken away his power.
but there's somebody
all of
else.
this.
This is the thing. It's Wagner was weak. He was starving. He was like a ghost of whatever he could be. But it's like there's somebody else who gains powers from dreams. And they took it from him. And they're still out there.
Well, what are you going to do?
I mean, I guess we're going to stop them, right?
Well, I sure hope so. You saw what they did to that poor kid.
Do you think you could maybe, I don't know, anything you can think about at all that you can dig into the files here, or what happened to Wagner before any of this? Where did you bury him? And go through all of the details and try and I'd like to leave it open if because we're talking in nebulous time, right? So whatever else, we can always ask her about where that cell is if we need to. Who had that cell, right?
Yeah, sure. So I think that, like, one thing that we'll come across in this conversation is, like, because you talked about making a map of where the killings had happened, and you place the killer. This person who's just died, he's died in the hospital, but you talk enough to realize that his actual home is on the same street as all the other victims in this series of killings. And what's striking to you on the map now is that the street where all of these victims have lived, or the neighborhood, is immediately adjacent to the junkyard where his remains were supposedly consecrated. So there's something geographical about the geography, the layout that stands out to you. But let's cut back to Christian and Becca for a bit. Sorry, unless there's anything that you wanted to ask about that.
No, I think it's I think that, like, Nancy's knowledge of what she's been fighting for years, combined with, like, what we've experienced and everything, like, we come up with those theories, right? Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. All right. So Christian and Becca, an hour or two later, a courier arrives with the files. Ronnie says, I sure hope that this helps, because I'm going to be in an awful lot of trouble. And puts this box on the table in front of you both.
Ronnie, you will always be on the guest list for my shows. Promise.
Thanks, Christian.
Also, you should totally come check us out. Pretty good. We're going places. And I'll start looking at the box and realize that I understand almost nothing in it.
Well, I mean, there's one thing that you will immediately understand, is that as you open it up, there are basically a set of 4 files. There's one about you, there's one about Becca, there's one about John, and there's one about Jaime. And even without understanding the details, it's clear that this is some sort of, like, opposition research, that the law firm has been using its resources to very quickly assemble information about who each of you are and how they could get at you, legally or through connections and things like that.
Is Ronnie still standing there?
Mm-hmm.
How does she react when she sees this?
I mean, she just looks pretty confused, I guess.
To say, Ronnie, why is your dad's law firm why do they have files on the people who helped you deal with that dream killer?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
And I look at Becca at this point because I'm good at playing guitar and hitting things with the guitar and talking to metalheads. But this is, I feel like this is Becca's wheelhouse.
So, Becca, what's striking to you as you look through these files is that there's the file about Christian and about lipsticks and about copyright claims and things like that. There's a file about John Barron. There are, notes about his divorce proceedings, ways they could be reopened, ways to reach out to his ex to, notes on his drug problem, things like that. There's notes about Jaime that show that, the law firm has connections to the consultancy that's working on efficiency stuff at the university. It will be easy to lean on them to, make some janitorial positions redundant, things like that. Quite harsh opposition research. But what you find in your own file is that they seem to have decided that the best way to get to you would be to offer to use the powers of their office to get the Watchers Council restarted and to reignite the network of Slayers. So more a carrot than a stick for you. So how do you answer, Christian?
Well, that's just great.
And maybe that realization is actually the note that we'll stop on for this week because we are nearly at time. Yeah, I think we have a pretty good foundation for you to build off in our last session.
Sure.
If that's all right with everyone, we will stop there and go to, I'll stop the recording and then we can do stars and wishes.